Unsolved Mysteries of Ancient Egypt. Welcome back to another captivating episode of Unsolved Mysteries of Ancient Egypt. Prepare to be transported back in time as we uncover the secrets that still baffle historians and archaeologists to this day. Let's get started. The Lost Land of Punt. Ancient Egyptian writings are full of references to a place called Punt. It was an ancient African kingdom full of gold, ivory, and exotic animals that excited the Egyptians' imaginations. And it must have been extremely powerful. It was a place that commanded the respect of the Egyptians, a land they had dubbed God's Land. There's no question that Punt existed. There are countless mentions of it in ancient writings. There's even a picture of the Queen of Punt in an ancient Egyptian temple. But despite how powerful and important this place must have been, we've never found it. The only traces we have of Punt are the artifacts the Egyptians kept. Scientists, desperate to figure out where this kingdom was, studied the mummified remains of two baboons that the Egyptians got from Punt and determined that the baboons, at least, had come from the area of modern-day Eritrea or eastern Ethiopia. This, at least, gives us a starting point in the hunt to find Punt, but it's a huge area for an archaeological search. And if we ever do find the ruins of the Kingdom of Punt, it'll open up a whole new series of mysteries to solve to uncover our past. The disappearance of Queen Nefertiti. Queen Nefertiti is legendary for being one of the few women to rule over Egypt. She was the wife of Pharaoh Akhenaten, likely the mother of Pharaoh Tutankhamun, and is believed to have taken over Egypt and ruled in her own right. And yet, while the tombs of other pharaohs still tower over Egypt today, nobody has ever found Nefertiti's final resting place. The search for her tomb has gone on for years. Up until 2018, archaeologists were almost convinced that they found her burial place in a secret chamber hidden in King Tut's tomb. In May, though, they meticulously scanned the wall and found that there was nothing there. Curiously, there's no mention of her death in Egyptian history, either. After about the 12th year of her husband Akhenaten's reign, all mention of her stops altogether. Some believe this is because she became pharaoh and took on a different name, but not everybody agrees. Some think that the answer to this mystery is a bit more mundane than we might hope. According to Dr. Joyce Tydesley, the simplest explanation is just that Nefertiti was never a pharaoh at all. Dr. Tydesley believes that people made a big deal out of Nefertiti in the 1920s because a sculpture of her face became popular, and they just wanted her to be popular badly enough to believe it. According to Dr. Tydesley, the explanation is simple. We don't know what happened to Nefertiti because she just wasn't that important of a person. The hidden chamber of the Great Pyramid. The greatest pyramid of them all was built 4,500 years ago for Pharaoh Khufu. It is massive structure almost 150 meters, 490 feet, tall, built with more than 2.3 million stone blocks. And yet, up until recently, there only seemed to be 3 chambers inside. If that seems like a lot of wasted space for you, you're not alone. That's why a team scanned the pyramid in November 2017 to see if there was anything they missed. Sure enough, above the Great Gallery of the pyramid, they found signs that there might be a large hidden chamber as large as the biggest room in the whole pyramid. The strange thing is that the Egyptians deliberately built the hidden chamber to be completely inaccessible. There are no corridors or pathways connected to it. The only way they could have put anything inside is if they filled the chamber while they were building the pyramid, then sealed it up afterward. We still haven't seen the inside of the hidden chamber. But whatever is in there, Pharaoh Khufu apparently didn't want it to ever see the light of day. The mysterious death of King Tut. King Tutankhamun was only 19 years old when he died, and nobody knows for sure what happened. His death is a complete mystery, but not because he was in the prime of his life. The reason that Tut's death is such a mystery is that there were so many things wrong with him that it's hard to tell which one finished him off. King Tut was in terrible health. He had malaria, for one thing, and he was born with so many genetic disabilities that historians are convinced his parents must have been brother and sister. He had a club foot and genetic defects that, some believe, may have made his death nothing more than a matter of time. He also had a fractured skull that, for a long time, was thought by archaeologists to be a sign that he'd been stabbed in the head. Today, it's believed that his head just got damaged while his body was being embalmed, but the possibility that he was murdered hasn't been ruled out. He broke his knee shortly before he died, too, which has led to a theory that he was killed in a chariot accident. If he was, though, getting on that chariot in the first place was a strange decision. Tut was so deformed that he couldn't even stand without someone propping him up. It could have been anything, or it could have been a whole slew of different things affecting him at once. The only thing we know for sure is that King Tut didn't get a lot of good news in his last month alive. The unknown Queen of Egypt. In 2015, archaeologists stumbled upon the tomb of a woman who was buried among the Great Pyramids of the Old Kingdom of Egypt. In her tomb were inscriptions calling her both the wife of the king and the mother of the king. 4,500 years ago, when this woman was alive, she would have been one of the most important people on the planet. She would have had greater power than any other woman in the nation. And nobody has any idea who she is. Historians have dubbed her Kentakawes III, under the assumption that she was the daughter of Queen Kentakawes II. They believe she may have been the wife of Pharaoh Nefertiti and the mother of Pharaoh Makahor, but they don't really know. They're just guessing. If her name was Kentakawes III, then there are no references to her whatsoever in anything we've ever found. Whoever she was once an incredibly powerful woman. But today, she is little more than an enigma. That concludes our journey through the unsolved mysteries of ancient Egypt. We hope you've been captivated by the ancient secrets that still elude us. Join us in our next episode as we embark on another thrilling exploration of the world's enigmas.